and welcome back to another special episode of Forks, Knives, and Spoons, where JJ and I are at Sandals Antigua.
That's right, on vacation, and this episode we're going to talk about all of the wildlife and the animals that we ran into during our visit.
Yes, we ran into birds and cats, and of course, geckos.
Right out the gate, we're looking at some of the birds that we saw. They call them laughing gulls.
Yes, and they were everywhere. But they're not, really aggressive unless you're eating, and boy, will they come for you then.
It kind of reminds me of that one commercial with Liberty Mutual,
where the birds are there and they're like, ooh, let's see. Oh, they got food. I think they have food.
And we kind of had that experience at a restaurant. Barefoot by the Sea was the name of the Sandals Resort restaurant. And the birds, they were just like kind of perched on a roof in back of us. And the next thing we know, they're coming down and they're pouncing on everything.
They were perched and ready to attack. As soon as the server would put a tray down from clearing a table, they were like, go get it, guys, it's dinner time. And then we happened to capture the server coming to get the trays or shoo the birds away, and she was terrified. Maybe they've been attacked once or twice. I don't know, but these birds are definitely relentless.
Listen to this clip. Here they are looking, gathering their courage. They see that the food is there and they're looking for it. They're taking a dive for the food. The server is hesitant to approach. She gathers up her courage.
He's funny.
Wow, I love that one.
Beyond that, you got to enjoy your meal as long as it was covered if you weren't attending your plate. That seemed to be the strategy.
Yes, and then there was a beautiful little bird that we saw as we were leaving. But other than that, those birds at that Barefoot Cafe at lunchtime, it was their lunchtime.
And there were some other birds we found on the resort. Macaws here, right there perched on Mia's arm. Isn't that lovely? And she is fearless with the bird. She was very comfortable with the bird. Unlike me, I didn't trust those very sharp beaks. Now this one, Mia, what's her name?
That's Delilah from Samson and Delilah. Remember that song? And these birds were here to greet us as we were about to go on our Taste of Antigua, which is the video that we did before this one. Yeah, you were a little nervous, JJ, but Delilah, she's a lovebird. Samson, on the other hand, you can see him strolling along and he's not letting anyone pick him up except the handlers. And they definitely let you know that he is not a lovebird, unlike Delilah. And away he goes. Good morning, all.
And now, beyond all the variety of birds, including those beautiful macaws, there's the cats of Antigua. There are lots of cats there on the Sandals Resort. It's amazing. And they're all just laying around and wandering about and I guess begging for food and plotting how to take over the world. I went right up to one cat and it seemed like it didn't even notice me.
And most people would think, why are all of these stray cats everywhere? They're not strays. They were bathed, they were soft, they were lovable, and yes, they did like to beg for the food because I am sure that they get their fair share of table scraps everywhere.
Some people, I'm sure, may be annoyed that all these cats, though, are wandering around the restaurants. And I actually did see one review where a woman actually called them strays and accused them of being diseased. But you're absolutely right. The cats are well taken care of, and we did find out how.
Yes, over at the Cat Cafe, where they had their own little area. It's almost like their little hotel. And there's certain cats that if you see them and their little ear is nipped, that means they're fixed to control the cat population. Because I'm sure cats will do what the animals do, and they would definitely create more cats.
Now let's move off land and into the sea, where Mia, you saw some interesting little crabs, were they?
Yes, they were crabs walking across the rocks that are on the pier, and they were everywhere. So don't get too close because they might pinch you. And then there was one, because there was a pretty good storm the night before, and that crab just washed right up onto the stairs right there.
Now, that is pretty far from the beach. I'm thinking a bird dropped it.
Well, that's quite a possibility because they do eat the crabs. And then if any of you have ever seen the little bowls where they have the fish in eating the dead skin off of your feet for like a little pedicure by fish, well, those are the fish that I ran into as I was walking along the beach, and they were nibbling on my toes.
Now, you also had some run-in with some jellyfish.
Yes, there was a big jellyfish, but the thing about those jellyfish, they really don't sting as bad as the ones in the Pacific Ocean. Now, they will give you a little bit of a tingle to let you know that they were there, but that was pretty cool to actually be that close to a real live jellyfish.
And it washed up on shore.
Yes, it did. The waves just pushed it right on out, but I'm sure that the waves will probably take it right on back out to sea.
And lastly, we did find a number of geckos there on the island. Some of them were green, some of them were brown, but they didn't really bother you. They just were hanging around.
Well, it's an island and it's a tropical paradise, and geckos love that island flavor.
And that wraps it up for all the interesting animals we ran into there on Sandals Grande Antigua Resort.
So catch us next time while we give you some more of our vacation fun here on Forks, Knives, and Spoons.